Welcome back to House TV Live. I'm Rick Spence, and this time we're going to Brooklyn, New York, and visiting with Julia Mack, and she's in a beautiful brownstone. Thank you, Julia, for inviting us into your home. Amazing, beautiful space. You see the backyard, see your kitchen, some of the living area. Let's start on the outside. What did you do to the backyard? It was pretty much just some concrete and fencing.
Right.
I mean, almost nothing going on back there.
Well, the interesting thing about this house is that it is sandwiched between identical homes on either side. So we're all 17 foot wide. We're triplets. It was chain link fence pretty much all the way around. And we were able to use the growth to really shield off some of the side spaces. The sunlight is obstructed in the afternoons because my next door neighbor has a very, very large plum tree, and it creates a shade garden for us for a half a day.
And you get extra fruit to make jam or whatever else with?
The plums actually do fall right in the yard.
So let's talk about that deck. So initially, you just had a fire escape, nothing there, and no real way to enjoy the backyard, kind of connecting with it a little bit more from your living space.
Well, the deck really serves almost like a perch. You're 10 feet above the ground. You've got a great view of the yard. It really becomes like an outdoor room 3 seasons out of the year here in New York. We use it for dining. We pack as many people around that outdoor table as we can. I've got an herb garden I use for cutting, and I've got a flower garden on the other side. And it's a beautiful space. It's just lovely at night. It's quiet. It's tranquil. During the day, it's just a great spot to just hang out, be out there.
It must be nice on a balmy night being out there with a little breeze kind of blowing the
Yeah,
trees.
we light some torches. It feels great.
Yeah, that's beautiful space. So let's go to the kitchen now.
Okay, my favorite. So the kitchen really this is a working space. I'm a very dedicated home cook. If I'm not cooking just, for the family, we're really doing dinner parties, and this kitchen island, it's big. It's 4 foot by 7 foot, and it's got an overhang where there are actually 3 stools that pull up to the island.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great place for casual breakfast, casual lunch. And so for an island that size, I wanted something that was relatively thin, and I wanted it to be durable. A continuous piece of porcelain that runs along the entire front counter, the back counter, and it's the same material up the backsplash too. I could not really cook the way that I like to cook if I felt as though I was going to ruin a slab of marble with a bottle of red wine, or spilling a bottle of olive oil all over the place. I just needed something that was a good, quick cleanup and was going to be relatively industrial and a real cook's kitchen.
What about cabinets versus drawers in the space? I'm hearing more people going with drawers. They find that more convenient. What did you do?
We did a lot of drawers. Really a lot of drawers. So the dishes sit down into a drawer. We also chose to do no pulls. That was sort of the architectural intent there. And I wanted to really create a good, clean line in the space. And a modern kitchen was really the only way to get those to integrate the clean lines into the space.
And you're not really fighting fair with other designers, because your husband's an architect, your daughter's in design, you're in design.
Yeah.
It's like, what are the family dinners like? Is it like an analysis of, is this still working? Do we need to remodel this?
We talk a lot about design. Yeah, we're addicts. We are definitely design addicts.
Now that you have that beautiful backyard, it's just this amazing backdrop to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, the backyards are really sort of a secret garden. There's little urban oasis.
It's beautiful. So let's go into the living space now, and tell me what you did in here.
Well, the living space, it's such a multi-functioning space. There's a dining room table that's floating adjacent to the kitchen. I was able to take my grandparents' table, this was theirs from the 1960s, and pair it with some new cartel plastic stacking chairs, which give it adds a little anamorphic sense to it. And I feel like it updated the table a little bit. And then as you work your way around the space, you can see that the front door is an integral part of the space. And those front doors are actually new. They're new replacements. They're old, but they're replacements that were purchased from a salvage store. And the salvage store also had doorknobs and hinges. So the previous owner had pulled the doors out, and it was really super important to get that arc and the windows going again. So we were able to find something that was a match to it. So that was really great addition. And then it leads right to the stair. And the stair also had its original newel post and the mahogany handrail. And what we were able to do was remove an understair, one that took you right downstairs to the basement space. And by doing that, we were able to slot in a very, very small powder room. And it's just a nice little functional space, very, very, very small.
Yeah. So this space has a nice balance of different materials and colors and modern. And tell me how you attack a space like this. What are the key components that make this work?
Really, one of the most important things that we dealt with was the idea of creating a space that had a sense of warmth in it, but not hit you over the head with like a yellow or something really super intense. And so I incorporated one of my favorite design techniques, which is a series of tonal textures. The texture in this space comes from a very, very textural neutral rug, and then velvet sofa, and some textural throw pillows, and some sparkle and shine that we get from the glass top table that has some chrome accents. And essentially what this does for a space is it gives it this depth of style, and it gives it an interesting degree of depth. And it's not contrived. It's not really too organized. It's just that if you can get that layering of texture and tone, really what you're getting is a space that feels like it's got a lot of dimension to it. And I was able to also incorporate touches of color in here. I have some lacquer tables that were from the 70s. They're called mushroom tables. And I've got a really bright red one right there. Then we also added a bit of red upholstery, which came from the Saarinen chairs that were reupholstered in a knoll fabric.
What is some of the artwork that you have in there? It's some really interesting pieces.
Yeah, the artwork is also an eclectic mix. Typically, we try to buy things that are from artists that we know. The hanging sculpture, which is a series of bed springs that have been welded together. The artist's name is Susan Woods. She lives in Brooklyn. She works in Brooklyn. And she takes old found objects. In this case, these are upholstery springs or bed springs. And she welds them together into this beautiful, really interesting amorphic shape. And the screen itself is over 7 feet tall. It's very large. She came in and she installed it herself, and it catches the light. It's got a nice dimension. It's a little bit of sparkle and shine, which is also one of my favorite things in the space.
It's amazing to think that this is a 150-year-old home and what you've done with it. It's modern, cozy, eclectic. When you originally bought this house, how did you decide what to keep and what to completely change? What were the components you felt were absolutely you had to keep, and what were the things that you said, you know what, this doesn't work for the way we live anymore, we're going to just change that?
Without a doubt, it was at the entry, there had been a wall up that divided the vestibule, the front door, and the stair from the living space. And so that wall, it was non-negotiable. That had to come down. And when that wall was removed, you really got this nice volume of space. You're really using the entire width that you have because it incorporated the stair into the space immediately. And by taking that wall down and adding steel, we were able to go as wide as we wanted, which is more than 75% of the space was opened up. So that helped a lot. Also, opening up between the kitchen and the living room was another non-negotiable. I mean, it had to be an easy, natural opening because that kitchen was really important to me. I wanted it to be an integral part of the living space because I'm usually in there cooking. Yeah. And lastly, it was really the glass doors, and knowing that was going to give a huge amount of transparency to the space, also bring some light in and nature in because you can really easily see the yard. So those were three things that were really, really important. And they came together really beautifully.
Well, thank you so much, Julia. It's been great spending some time with you and seeing your home. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I love all the beautiful work you're doing for your clients. I think they're really lucky to have you there in Brooklyn, and look forward to seeing some more of your amazing work.
Well, thank you. I can't thank you enough. This has been really fun.
Thank you again. Okay, see. Bye-bye.